Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics that's known classics. This episode number 1965 and Doubleshot number 1859. I have two X-Men trades. The first one I actually mostly traded already, thanks to doing Sabretooth for this one, but this is a combination of two different trades from a writer's run that was about 4 or 5 trades to collect it originally, and since then they combined it simply to just have 2 standalone trades for this one. We have X-Men by Peter Milligan, The Blood of Apocalypse. Now, this book does contain issues 177 to 187. Written, of course, by Peter Milligan. Sabretooth does some of the artwork in here. He does issues 177, 179, and 182, 187. They also included here issues of Cable and Deadpool, 26, 27. Now, the only reason I put that in here is because that's a prelude to the Apocalypse story arc. That's really the point of being here. Now, Blood Apocalypse, I have discussed the story arc before in the actual trade itself. Yes, the actual trade, Blood Apocalypse. Just give me a minute. Drop one of my Hero Academia graphic novels down on the floor. Let me take a look here. Excuse me. Okay, I actually reviewed Blood Apocalypse about... Apparently the first time I did it was basically about 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago at my... Actually, it was here. Yep. It was a while ago I reviewed it. Yeah. Yeah, I did pretty much a review of that one. All Uncanny X-Men Dreams End. Yeah, Blood Apocalypse is an excellent storyline. I did review this, like I said, 4 years ago. Episode 703, which, yeah, that was a long time ago. Yep, so let's discuss the issues that I... Now, in the case of the main X-Men issues, here's the strange thing, though. Now, there is actually one trade that came before this one called... X-Men by Peter Milligan, Volume 1, Danger Liaisons. You can kind of consider this to be Volume 2 of this particular one. Dangerous Liaisons, if you're curious, though, what exactly is in this one. This one actually contains... Excuse me. This contains issues 166 to 176 and 2 issues of Black Panther. And you might be thinking, have I actually reviewed this book before? Like, have I reviewed the 2 trades that originally collected these issues? You might be asking that. And the answer is... Yes, that trade there is actually a combination of 3 trades. 3 trades that one is basically collecting, which is simply put basically Golgotha, Bizarre Love Triangle, and X-Men / Black Panther Wild Kingdom. That's simply put basically what it is. Now, the animation the day after, I actually did not review these issues before. That's issues 177 to 181. This then put a 5-parter, which basically, it's basically what the main X book, this is set just after events at House of M, where, like, the X-Men basically worrying about what happens next as a lot of them use lots of powers, and then all of a sudden the frickin' Sentinels show up. You're probably thinking, what the heck the Sentinels doing here? And there's some massive confusion because Sentinels are there, they're attacking, but it turns out they're not attacking because they're basically part of a new government agency, which is known as basically Sentinel-1, Office of National Emergency. Yes, simply basically this agency exists for one purpose only, protecting the world's remaining mutants. The alleged 198 remaining mutants. Yep, that's the purpose of the storyline. Just to introduce that. We also have Return Mystique in here. You could say a lot of these issues in here are basically setting up a lot of the stuff we see in the Blood Apocalypse story arc, and also what happens in the Mike Carey run for... You also kind of wrap up a little bit of Peter Milligan's run, also Mike Carey's run a little bit because Mystique is here. Yes. That's simply put, basically kind of describe these issues are. Yeah. Yeah, it turns out this all due to massive confusion. Now, reading this, I kind of felt as though they cut us some pages for no apparent reason. And also, this story arc itself will indirectly lead into Blood Apocalypse, which has basically Havoc and Polaris leaving the team. Now, Bobby tries to leave the team too, aka Iceman. And by the way, this is actually before he was stupidly outed as gay. Yeah, like a full decade. Where he tries to leave. They tell him no because he's basically just turn around and things like convincing. And plus also he lied about the fact he lost his powers. Turns out he didn't. He actually had a second mutation with his powers. Yes, believe it or not, he had a second mutation. So that mutation was able to stay while his original mutation, his ice powers, well, his original ones basically disappeared. So most of it just basically just a series of stories related to this one. Just try and pick up the pieces advents of that particular crossover. That's simple what it is. Blood Apocalypse, I have read this one before. It's an excellent story arc. I do recommend people checking it out. And this actually is pretty good. I give this book I gave Blood Apocalypse really a 10 out of 10, which is definitely, I still hit that opinion, where I basically still agree this is still a 10 out of 10 storyline because it's really good because it's Apocalypse. In the case of the Day After M, I would probably give this one 9 out of 10. The storyline itself. The trade itself, I give it 9.5 because it's really good here. Sadly itself, the Examination one-shot is not in this trade. Probably because Pierre Milligan didn't write it. That's probably the reason why I can think of. And with that, Pierre Milligan's run is completed. Yes, finally. It taken some time, but officially, as of right now, I have officially, let's see. I believe I have reviewed pretty much in a way. Let's see. Yep. I reviewed the Golgotha trade, episode 698. Check that out. Okay, what about Bizarre Love Triangle? That was also 4 years ago. I reviewed an issue. It was issue episode 702. And as for Wild Kingdom, this one I actually also reviewed this one when I reviewed, I think it was, the first trade that collect issues from the original Holland run for Black Panther. My final thoughts to this run, it's a very interesting run for X-Men. It's not a run that people talk about. It feels like an X-Men book. I mean, it is an interesting lineup a lot of the time where they have a team led by Havoc. And mostly put, he just deals with a lot of stuff. I mean, mostly put, this is just coming, like, the Peter came with the book just after Chuck Austin's 10-issue run for the book. 10 issues. Which has been collected twice. Yes, freaking twice. Yes, his brief run. Yeah, the second time was actually collecting a completely different trade, which collected the Day of the Atom story arc, obviously, plus some stuff that basically led up to it. That's most of what that one was. It's definitely a good story arc per se. It's definitely a good run per se. I actually did at one point buy some issues of this run. It's in boxing plates. I don't remember when it was, but excuse me. It's a very underrated run. It's not a run to talk about because here's the strange thing though. Right after issue 187, what happens with 188? That is the start of Mike Carey's 4-year run in the book. That is to date the longest run of this entire series. Yes, seriously. This one run is the longest run. Because everybody else on the book maybe like a year or two. And that was, if you're curious though, what was his final issue after coming in with 188? He doesn't leave until issue 200 and I think it was like 269. I'm not kidding about that. He doesn't even write the final issue of this run before it gets relaunched #1. and about somebody else. Alright, moving on, different book. We have Sabretooth the Adversary. This actually collects I believe this is the second or third volume for Sabretooth. This is written by Victor LaVar with Leonard Kirk on the artwork. Yeah, this actually is the first time. Now, the thing is, prior to this miniseries coming out, the last time Sabretooth officially featured any comic book published by Marvel Comics was basically in the finale for House of X, Powers of X. Where, actually, I think it was like the very start of John Hickman's run for X-Men, where when they captured Sabretooth, they basically just bashed into the bowels of Krakatoa. And this is him basically just re-emerging after 3 years, trying to cause chaos on the island of Krakatoa. And eventually he is banished from the island to go with this prison ship that basically says, oh, you fall like to me, my exiles. And that's real all that happens in this miniseries. It's definitely interesting to say the least. I mean, it's nice to feature Sabretooth of all people. And oddly enough, this actually... Now, you're probably thinking, what was the last time Sabretooth had a solo book for himself? Not since like the early 2000s. No joke. That seriously is true. I think it was Daniel Way wrote his last miniseries he had. Yes, I believe so. It's not a terrible miniseries per se, but it's one people probably just say, oh, Sabretooth miniseries? Okay. It's an okay miniseries. It's just basically a way to basically bring Sabretooth back after he'd been on the shelf for 3 years. And I'm not kidding about that. The guy basically was gone from Marvel Comics for 3 years. I mean, he was not seen since the start of Hickman's run in X-Men. And here he is, back. And this is like a year after Hickman left the book. Yeah, a full freaking year. Pretty good. This book, 9 out of 10. Yeah. Oh, in case you're curious, how much was the trade itself? $17.99. Not surprising, to say the least. Yep. Okay, so that's episode review. Next episode will be a Black Clover review, and then it's on to One Piece. Okay, next video. Bye.